here's a question from Patreon. This comes from Steven Chambers, and he asks, what would you and the other guests on your channel consider to be their top 3 rarest video games? All right, the team is assembled. Let's start with Kelsey.
My top 3 rarest games are probably Breach and Clear for the Vita, which had a limited print of only 1,500. Maybe Rule of Rose on the PS2, which is a pretty rare horror game. And then not really a game, but more like a game-making program, The Wonder Witch for the Wonder Swan, which was it's sort of like a dev kit, but it actually was for retail in Japan.
I'm going to stick with PlayStation. Number 1 is going to be Harmful Park. It's a shoot 'em up type game. Another game is an action platformer, Little Ralph. I almost forgot the name. And American-wise, PS1, I'll have to go with The Misadventures of Tron Bonne. It's a Mega Man Legends spinoff. Excellent game. Very expensive. I recommend downloading it.
So my top 3 rare games are, first up is Magic Knight Rayearth on the Sega Saturn, a Working Designs RPG, which is awesome, and I coveted this game for so long, so partly why it's in this top 3 is because of how much I wanted it, and at the time I thought I paid too much, but it's quadrupled in value since then, so really excited I got it. And next is really cool, and that is the Super Star Fox Weekend competition cart. And what's really cool about this is it was really only available after the actual competition was held through Nintendo Power. So there's really not that many out there, and it wasn't available through that for very long. So really awesome that I have this one as well. And last up, the most rare, of course, is Game Panic by none other than the immortal John Hancock. And this is a numbered version. It's only 11 of 43, so obviously very rare. And for the Atari, and it's awesome. Comes with the bonus DVD and the vinyl figure, and of course, signed by the legendary man himself. Obviously the most rare thing I have. Thanks, guys.
Of course, stadium vents for Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. And then Sega Genesis Outback Joey, which a lot of people don't even know is part of the set.
I've never heard of that before.
Some people consider it part of the set, other people don't. I have a loose cart with manual. And third would be Magical Chase for TurboGrafx 16.
Yay! And you got that recently.
Yes. I worked a long trade payment plan with a local game store that had it walk into their store. Made them happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Metal Militia, it's Anna from Circuits and Coffee, and I am bringing you my top 3 rarest games from my game room, coming live from the Lady Loft. And I'd have to say, first off, Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Sega Saturn. It came out towards the end of its lifetime, not a whole lot printed, and pretty hard to find this in the wild, in good condition with the manual and all the CDs in excellent shape. Definitely my rarest game. The second one was a toss-up for me. It goes with either, I'd go with either Earthbound for the Super Nintendo, just the cartridge, or Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii. Now this was a limited print, really from GameStop. they fudged this one up. This was the original print, and then GameStop, of course, printed their own copies. So I got the real stuff. And then for my third rarest game, it was a really tough choice, but I'd have to say my rarest game is the Rare Replay on the Xbox One. I mean, it has over 20 games from Rare. Definitely the rarest. Thanks for the question.
Hey guys, Crazy Joe here. Going to show you my top 3 rarest games. It was really hard to pick out 3, but here's what I got. So far we got In the Hunt, PlayStation 1. The thing that makes this extra rare is it's in a jewel case. Normally you find it in a long box. Next up we have Halloween on the Atari 2600. Cart only, but it's still definitely an oddity. Not a lot of people have this thing. And last but not least, not sure of the actual rarity of this guy, but I looked for it forever. Took me forever to find it. And it's Friday the 13th on the Commodore 64. I've never even had a chance to play it. It looks like a lot of fun. But just look at that art. Isn't that great? This is the PAL version. Rarer? I don't know. Well, that's going to do it for me.
How you feeling? You got John Riggs here. My 3 rarest games in my collection, they're going to be a little unconventional because I don't consider Earthbound a rare, for instance. It's valuable, for sure, and I'm happy to have one. However, I remember when Toys R Us was liquidating them for 30 bucks each, no one was buying them. I see an Earthbound at every convention I go to. You can go on eBay right now and grab one. So not rare, because you can find them, but they are valuable. So keeping that in mind, some games that you're going to have a hard time finding are going to be Spot Goes to Hollywood for the 32X. It was a Cowlitz Gamers for Kids exclusive. It's the reason I love going to conventions. You find these exclusives. They found the prototype, dumped the ROM, and only made 35 copies of it, and you're not going to find any more. So you got this one going on here. Happy to have that in my collection. The other one was a Nintendo Age exclusive. Somebody in China made his own homebrew, which is he made his own Nintendo game from scratch, used his own mapper, his own circuit board, very unconventional way of doing it, but he sold a limited amount of them. The game is called Starkeeper for the Nintendo here. Super, super fun game to play, and he's not making any more of them. Trust me, I tried contacting him, he's like, I'm done. I'm not making any more of them. And what makes this game rare is the fact that I have 2 of them. So there's that. Those are my 3 rarest games in my collection.
All right, now my top 3 rarest games. Well, you guys remember that Zelda Twilight Princess originally came out on the Wii and also the GameCube version at the same time. However, in Japan, Nintendo was very concerned that the GameCube version might steal sales away from the newer Wii version. So they made the GameCube version in Japan only available online. It wasn't sold in stores. And they also limited the number of copies to only about 5,000. So that's what makes this so kind of rare and unusual, is that I have an unopened copy of the physical version. And keep in mind, again, for a Zelda game, there's only 5,000 copies of this. That's pretty unusual. It'd be almost like if Breath of the Wild, you know how that came out on the Wii U and also Switch, is if you just couldn't find the Wii U version except online. Very unusual that they did that, so that's what kind of makes it collectible. Also in my collection, I have, this is kind of interesting, it's the PC version of Super C, or Super Contra. Now, this is not a port of the NES version, this is actually a port of the arcade version, which is very cool. It's very hard to find, especially unopened like this, completely brand new, so it's kind of a cool little feature of my collection. And then also here, this is another oddity, this is the Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire. So this is a highly sought after, essentially this was supposed to be an expansion to Daggerfall, but they made it into its own game. What's really interesting about this is that, one, it didn't sell very well, it didn't get really great reviews, and it's more of a survival horror game. So it's highly collectible for people who are going for a complete Elder Scrolls collection, and again, mine is completely sealed and unopened. Alright, so that's our top 3 rarest games, and I think you'll agree that one of the cool things about this video is that it gives you a little bit of insight into their personalities and also their individual collections. They also bring that to my channel, and I appreciate it greatly. All you collectors out there, I'd love to know down in the comments, what are some of your top 3 rarest games? Love to see what you guys are collecting and what you're also passionate about. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and take care. This question was asked by one of my Patreon contributors who help support my YouTube channel and help shape the content of my videos. In addition to asking questions like this, they also get access to a private chat, an audio podcast, and early access to most of my Friday videos. You can also set the amount you want to contribute, and you can leave or change it at any time. If you'd like to help support my videos and become part of the Metal Militia, please go to patreon.com/MetalJesusRocks.